Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home for all your betting tips and expert analysis, not only for boxing, but for football, horse racing, basketball, and a number of different events. So please check out the lads at sharpbetting.co.uk in the description below. It's me, Niall, just here with a quick reaction to the news that was broken by Ring Magazine, as sources say that Jake Paul will fight former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. This summer in a cruiserweight contest, a location yet to be confirmed, but it looks like it's a summer showdown between Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez. And yeah, it's it's an interesting one. This, the first kind of course, he fought Mike Tyson last year, Jake Paul, but the first kind of world champion close to his age, you could say that Jake Paul has fought, the first boxing world champion close to his age that he's fought, yeah, in this, whatever you want to call it, career experiment, cash grab, maybe a bit of all three. But yeah, it's an interesting one. This, Julio Cesar Chavez is a fascinating character, for boxing fans who know all about him. Of course, big boots to fill, and he didn't quite fill them at all. He did win world titles. He is a former world champion, but then it went completely off the rails for him. It really did, and it seems to be a mentality problem. Where he buckled under the pressure of f having those shoes to fill, or silver spoon syndrome, or whatever it was. But he definitely didn't get near the legacy of his father in the ring, and he's been a bit of an embarrassment, to be honest with you. The last few years of his career, fought last year on the Jake Paul undercard in July last year. That was his first fight in 3 years. Of course, before that, he lost to Anderson Silva, an MMA fighter approaching 50 years old, who Jake Paul also beat. And he beat Julio Cesar Chavez, which had to be an embarrassing result for his father and his family name. But he's also kind of embarrassed himself in other fights against the likes of Daniel Jacobs, throwing the towel in. And, he's just weight weight issues, outside of the ring, indiscretions, controversies, that type of stuff. And yeah, he has a big payday now, against Jake Paul. It makes sense, for Jake Paul, in terms of, he's never going to fight an elite boxer in their prime. We have to understand that, but he's fighting names. He's fighting the likes of a Mike Tyson, a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who's known to boxing fans. Um, yeah, but he's never gonna fight kind of these elite champions, and that's okay if you don't take what he's doing too seriously. It is, as I say, a cash grab from, people talk like they want to see him in the ring with the likes of a Canelo or somebody like that, but we know that's never going to happen, and he knows it's never going to happen. So if we don't take it too seriously, it is what it is. He's fighting big names for the least risk possible and the most amount of money. So, in a way, as you have to kind of hand it to him, make as much money as you can. If you don't like it, don't watch. That's the kind of aim of the message for all of Jake Paul's fights, really. Will I watch? Probably. It is quite interesting. It's a circus in a way, but it does entertain some people, and Julio Cesar Chavez now is a name. And yeah, in terms of predictions, Jake Paul beats Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., for being honest. Um, as mad as that is to say, if you had have said that in the late 2000s, you would have been kind of laughed at. But Julio Cesar Chavez has kind of disgraced himself. He doesn't take boxing seriously. Yeah, and he's just, as I say, he's disgraced himself, to be honest, in recent years, in his last few fights. And he just doesn't take the sport seriously at all. And Jake Paul, whatever you want to say about him, he trains hard. He'll be fitter than Julio Cesar Chavez. He'll be more kind of, he won't be as rusty as Julio Cesar Chavez has been. And yeah, I just think he'll beat him. I think Chavez will underwhelm, and Jake Paul will. If Jake Paul stopped him, if Jake Paul stopped Chavez, it'll be I don't think he will stop him, but if he did, it'd be you know, his father should be looking to disown him, to be quite honest with you. I know that might sound harsh, but it's true. Getting stopped by Jake Paul would be even lower than losing to Anderson Silva. So, yeah, I think Jake Paul will have enough to beat him soundly on the decision. Which is unfortunate. Chavez had the tools. He had the tools, he had the name, you just couldn't put it all together in his head. So, yeah, Jake Paul fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. this summer in a cruiserweight bout. The first world champion around his age bracket, as I say, he's fighting. We've seen him lose to Tommy Fury in a close fight. He's beaten Mike Tyson. He's beaten other very low level boxers like Andre August, Ryan Borland, and names like that. But now he's fighting Chavez in a fight that's sure to get eyeballs on it, like plenty of us, like most of his fights do. So yeah, I'm going for a Jake Paul decision win against a very underwhelming Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. In another dark day for that family name, the second generation of that family name. So yeah, that's just my quick reaction to that news. Let us know what you think in the comments. How excited are you for this one? Can Chavez beat him? Can he kind of get back near to his prime and beat Jake Paul? Do you agree? Let us know what you think in the comments. Get involved down below. Please like the video. We'd really appreciate it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing. Follow us on all social media platforms, and of course check out the lads at sharpbetting.co.uk in the description below. Until next time, take care.